cough, but other than my first day when I got here to Omaha with a high fever, I've been feeling fine. This has been like a minor cold for me. My wife and I had boarded the Diamond Princess on a cruise to Japan on January 17th. I think the biggest shock is we're now into March. She's home now because she never got the virus, and here I sit in wonderful Omaha, where the folks have been just fabulous.
Let me just ask, because everyone probably wants to know this, what does it feel like?
What do it feel like? That was a dumbass question. But I'm going to start it back up. What do it feel
To
like?
have the coronavirus? I know you said you're feeling great now. What was the first symptom? What was the worst? What does it compare to exactly?
Yeah, the common denominator seems to be a spike, a very high fever in a very quick amount of time. We had been sent back from the Diamond Princess over to the States on a 747 cargo plane. When I got on the plane, I fell asleep. I was still feeling fine when we got on the plane. Fell asleep next to my wife. 2 hours later, I woke up, and I had a high fever, 103 plus. My wife looked at me and said, "You're flush. I think you've got it." I went back to the doctor on board the plane. He tested me and saw that I did have the fever. Was put in a quarantine area, flown here to Omaha, and put in the biocontainment center where I was, again, tested for the actual virus, and it came out positive. But it felt less than a common cold. I didn't have a stuffy nose, didn't have a sore throat. No, the fever was...
I'll just pause there for a second. We in the middle of the map, Omaha, Nebraska. Just like if a bomb or anything, the war jumped off, we the first people to get hit. So is this the first place to spread it?
Was high, but no body aches, no chills, no sweating. That usually comes with 103 fever.
Yeah.
And after about 8 or 9 hours, the fever was gone.
Dr. Rupp, it's Sanjay Gupta. I first met you when you were actually, the University of Nebraska was taking care of Ebola patients back 6 years ago.
Ebola patients 6 years ago. Y'all remember that big scare? They ain't talked about it in 6 years.
Can you just give us a sense of how the patients are doing over there in Nebraska? How we hear from Carl, but how sick have some of these patients become?
Not sick at all.
We're very pleased to serve as a national resource in this time of need. And much of the experience is exactly as was just related. This is a virus that can cause serious illness, but in most people it's relatively mild. Fevers, cough, and then unfortunately if it progresses to worsening lower respiratory tract infection, pneumonia, and in its worst instances, death. That seems to be more prevalent in older folks and those with underlying diseases. But again, the majority of folks do tend to do fine. And we're very pleased that with these 15 people that we've taken care of lately, that actually we've had 7 up.
For all the people in Omaha going to buy up water like it's the end of the world and napkins and everything, they sure appreciate your money. But just calm down, please.
Of them restored to health and have been released home. We still have 8 of them here in either our quarantine unit or in the biocontainment unit.
Dr. Rupp, there's been these interesting trials out of China where they have, tens of thousands of patients looking at therapeutics. I mean, everyone's focused on the vaccine, but the idea of looking at antivirals that might be beneficial, that's obviously a big deal as well. That could really be helpful here. They're conducting trials in Nebraska as well. Have you learned anything? Is there something that you think it looks promising?
Well, it's too early to say, but we're very pleased with the fact that we brought this trial on extremely quickly, along with our colleagues at the NIH, and the leader here at the University of Nebraska is Dr. Andre Khalil leading that trial. But it's a very well-designed study looking at remdesivir, which shows great